Hi guys, it's Crystal. So today I have another foundation review for you, and it's coming from one of my favorite brands, Clinique. I have so much Clinique stuff, and it's because I've really trusted them and stood by them for well over a decade now. My mom used Clinique all throughout, her life, and then when I was growing up, I'd always sit there and watch her put on her makeup and her Clinique, and she would always tell me just how good it is for your skin, and it's not just makeup, but it also helps your skin so much. My mom has the same skin issues that I do for the most part. We're both very oily. We both are very sensitive to cheaper foundations, cheaper in quality, not in price, of course. So it's very difficult for us to find foundation and makeup in general that works well and that looks nice and natural. So this is one of Clinique's newer foundations, and I was very happy when I heard about it coming out. And I usually use Clinique Even Better, and I also use Clinique Super Balanced Makeup, and I also use Clinique Continuous Coverage. Sometimes I use that as a foundation. Mostly I use Continuous Coverage as a concealer. So those are the three main ones by Clinique that I use. So when this one came out, I was jumping for joy. I'm going to show you the box. It's the Clinique Stay True Makeup Oil-Free Formula. There are only 6 colors right now, and I believe that that's probably how it will stay for a little while. I'm neutral or stay neutral. Even the bottle is so different from the other Clinique bottles. The Super Balanced Makeup is the square, and then the Even Better is the plastic, and then the Continuous Coverage is the tube. Well, anyways, I really like this bottle. It's very different. It looks a lot different in the bottle as well, and I just want to make that known to you guys. Much of the Clinique formulas are pretty true to what they look like in the bottle. What you see is what you're going to get. So when I went into the Clinique counter and I just, said I want to try a new foundation, and I had read a lot about this, I actually picked the one just below this color, and I thought that this would be it. And when she tried it on me, she said that's really light, and it was, and it looked like it would match me in the bottle, but it actually didn't. So this one, when she showed it to me, I thought that's kind of dark for the winter time, and I'm going to show you. You can see it looks kind of dark. It's a little bit dark. But when she put it on my face, and I'm just going to show, I have it on right now, but I do want to show you how it blends in. Let's put it right there. It completely blends in. It's the most amazing formula from Clinique that I've tried yet. So neutral is my color, stay neutral. So before I go on about my personal opinion, I'm going to read to you just the basics about this new Stay True Oil-Free Makeup by Clinique. The Stay True Makeup Oil-Free Formula, it's a favorite of oily skins. Oil-free foundation blends easily for a smooth and even look, minimizes shine, and it won't clog your pores. So if you're familiar with Clinique, they have the skin typing system, and it just is a numbering system. So this is for skin types 2, dry to combination, 3, oily, and 4, very oily. So if you're a 2, a 3, or a 4, this makeup is going to be what you're primarily going to want to go with. The formula is a liquid. The coverage, they say, is moderate to full. I'm going to go ahead and say it's full, not so much moderate. The 2 biggest benefits are it's oil-free and it's extremely long-lasting and long-wearing. The colors that they come in are ivory, light, neutral, beige, sunny, and golden. And this retails at $22. Now again, this isn't a foundation for everyone. This will not be a foundation for everyone. This is primarily if you're a 2, 3, or 4. And I really think that it's going to be best for oily to very oily skin, and I'm going to tell you why. So the big plug by Clinique is that this foundation will not go anywhere on oily skin. As someone with oily skin, my foundation ends up all over by the end of the day. What do I mean by that? It's not so much that it goes on poorly. It's not so much that it cakes up. When you have really oily skin, you'll start to notice your foundation will slip and move at the end of the day. And I wear a very good primer underneath. I take very good care in terms of having the right hydration amounts. Of course, I always use my Clinique Dramatically Different Moisturizing Gel for moisturizing purposes. So it's not an overly moisturizing facial lotion. It's the gel, and that's meant for my skin type. I really go that extra mile to ensure that my skin stays at a minimum oil level. Doesn't matter, my foundation will still go all over. I think that the only other foundation that I have that does not have an issue with slipping or moving is my Chanel Vitalumiere Aqua. So back to the Clinique. When I went home, I could not wait to try this. So I washed my face, I put it on, and I tried it on for a couple of hours that evening. I really liked what I saw. I really liked the coverage it gave me. I do like a bit of a more full coverage in the winter. I really enjoyed the color. The color matched very, very nicely. The neutral, I think, was perfect. It blended out very, very well. And a lot of times I notice, like with their super balanced makeup, when I'm putting it on with a stippling brush or a foundation brush, I have a certain amount of time before I have to hurry up and blend it out because it does stain a little bit on my skin, especially because of the oiliness. It'll start to set into oil pockets, and it really takes a lot of work to buff that out, and I'll usually need a buffing brush. With this, I had a little bit more extra time in terms of letting it sit there, making sure that I applied it well. Now, the first evening or afternoon that I wore this, I did not put any setting powder on. I just wore this in a little bit of concealer, and the concealer I used was my Continuous Coverage. I wanted to stick with a more full coverage because this is, so I just used my Clinique Continuous Coverage, and I actually go pretty light with this. It's Ivory Glow, and that worked really nicely. The two of them blended very, very well. Now, the funny thing with this is because it has no oil in it, you can just tell already that the texture is very different than any other Clinique foundation. It's definitely thicker. It's a thicker consistency. You really don't need a lot of this either, which is really nice. You just need probably about the size of a nickel, I would say, and same thinness, really, really small amount, and that will cover your face very nicely. And this lasted all day from about 7 a.m. till 9:30 p.m., well over 12 hours. My foundation did not slip. It did not slip into the crevices of my nose. It did not get caked up anywhere. It did not kind of settle into my pores or my lines. It's almost like it floated above everything and stayed and continued to do so for 12 plus hours. Now, about the color, because it's another issue, sometimes color can fade as your day goes on. This really did not fade. The color was just as true as when I put it on all the way to the very end. Now, do I have any cons about this makeup? Not about the makeup in general, but I think about the system itself. And I know that it's a newer Clinique foundation in terms of how long Super Balanced has been around, how long Continuous Coverage has been around. I don't particularly like that they only have 6 shades to choose from. I also don't like that they're not really focusing on undertones, on you know, pinks or yellows or reds. I understand not everybody can be Illamasqua. I'm not saying anything about the quality, and I'm only talking about in terms of color matching. The only thing that I really wish they would change, and they might, we still have time to see if they do, is for them to not only get a bigger selection of colors, but also cater to undertones. Now, Clinique is not known for catering perfectly to undertones. Clinique is very much about clearing up your skin, making sure that your skin is healthy, being really dermatologically tested, having their crops perfectly grown so that they can bring you healthy, beautiful makeup. And they do give you a nice array and assortment of colors to choose from in terms of foundation. If you look at their Super Balanced, there's a lot to choose from. So I'm going to do a close-up and show you my face. All I have on is Clinique. I do not have setting powder on. I also have on some mascara, some lipstick, and a little bit of blush. So here it is. It goes around the nose very, very well. It works really great with a stippling brush, even though it's a little bit thicker. I think that it works really nicely with that. I like the stippling brush. The regular foundation brushes, I have the Clinique foundation brush, that works great. I think that that's really what this is meant for, is just a good old-fashioned foundation brush. But again, I like stippling brushes a lot better, so I use that. Really, that's all that I can say about this. Is I'm so happy with it. I really think it's wonderful. I'm going to show you the box again in case you would like to go check it out. Again, there's only 6 colors. Mine is neutral, so if that gives you any sort of a reference point. There are only 2 lighter ones below neutral. There's the ivory and light, or light and ivory. I think it's ivory and light. So those are pretty light. And then there's, I believe, 3 above neutral, which go all the way up to golden. And golden is a very dark color, but again, even with that, I don't think that that's going to be dark enough for some women of color. There's a whole spectrum of skin tones, and I think that having only 6, that can be a problem, and that may be a problem in the future. But again, not everybody has oily skin, and again, you know, some people, Clinique is one of those companies where when you find your product, you really stick with it. Clinique is just known for that. So maybe it just takes a little bit more of popularity, a little bit more of getting it out there, but I hope that this has encouraged you to at least check it out. And if you have combination skin, it's great for that. If you have oily skin, it's great for that. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.